Welcome to Flight Path. My name is Simon, and you've just witnessed me just trying to crash there. And this is the Flight Path channel, and we are currently looking at the Battle of Waterloo. Now, I look at the YouTube analytics, and I see that a lot of people join in and then leave after about a minute. So let me warn you now, because this is not going to be the channel for everybody. It's still a young channel, and we're trying to work out where best to categorize it. Yes, we are on Flight Simulator 2024, but we talk about history on this channel. So if you're not into history, this probably isn't going to be the channel for you. Now, so that's got half of the people out of the way, because we're about a minute into the stream already. For the rest of you who I might have piqued your interest, thank you for carrying on watching. We are doing the Battle of Waterloo, and you might be wondering why we're here. This is the island of Elba. It's because I've been following Napoleon from his exile here all the way to Waterloo, and so we've probably lost a few more people there. And for the people who are remaining, the one person who's remaining, I like to say, look, I can't change the way I talk. This is a discussion about history, and it needs your help to make it something better than just a stream. It's designed to be a discussion on history. We've got different playlists. We've done D-Day, we've done Waterloo, but it's not about me telling you about the history. I wanted to be a discussion about the history. So if you have any questions, then just ask them. If you think I've said something wrong, then please just say it. So what I thought I would do for the first part of this stream is I'm going to go through what we've already done. Now, this is going to lose another bunch of people. The Battle of Waterloo, the campaign of Waterloo, so far we've done around about 52 episodes on Waterloo, and we've only just got to the day after the Battle of Quatre Bras and Ligny. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back through what we've already done. I'll show you some of the key places, and if you're watching back on YouTube later, you'll see all these postcards popping up above, and they will be the videos. So if there's something piques your interest, you can go to that video. This is a young channel. I see that we've got around about 24 people on YouTube, and we've got about 74 people on Twitch. So hopefully you can, if you're joining in now, come and have say hello and join in with the discussion, and we can grow the channel together. The way I'm currently streaming, I've been trying out different things where I put myself, if I do put myself somewhere on the screen, and all the information and that sort of stuff. I'll give you a guided tour. So up on the top left, we'll have the subject. This is the playlist that we're discussing. In the center, you'll see the location, and that's so that if you wanted to join me or check it out on a map, then you can go to that. And on the right hand side is the sort of time period that we're talking about, and so that's going to change as we do different streams. I tend to stream for around about 2 hours, maybe a bit longer. And what I will do is I started streaming on Twitch and YouTube, but I will break up these videos into around about 20 minutes. I plan to try to keep them to that sort of time, and that way it will be put onto a playlist onto YouTube. You should see these live videos though if you go to Twitch for about 15 days, or you should find them on YouTube itself. So go back if you want to check out these history discussions in more detail. And the other thing I do as well is I like to stream live. I'm flying live. I don't like to edit stuff. This is so that you know that it's a human here. I show my face to show because it's a human. I don't edit because I'm a human. I'm reading my own notes that I've taken, and you'll see over the course of the streams I'll show you some of the sources that I use. And you'll also find that people will join in and say hello, or they'll fly past. So if you've got Microsoft Flight 2024, you can join me. So we're in Elba at the moment, and you can fly in the screen and all that sort of stuff. If you want to comment live, that's not a problem. We can always try to answer your questions, or anybody in the stream could try to answer a question. If you're watching back later, please comment. I read all the comments, and you can put those comments into the comment section below. I know I'm bold. I know I'm old. Thanks for that, though. Don't have to point that out to me all the time. And I know I do sometimes and a lot, and I'm trying to stop doing that. What I thought I'd do as well, so what this section here will have postcards popping up. I'm also going to sort of start talking in to the short people on YouTube. They're going to be little adverts. So if you're new to this and you're watching live now, you're going to basically see a quick run through of what we've done. So let's what we're going to do now, we're flying over Elba. Let's I'm going to head to this there's a villa here. So hello to all you YouTube shorts. What you're seeing here is the island of Elba, and what we have down below is Napoleon's palace on Elba. This is where this dot is, right here. This is looking over the port of Ponte Ferrara in Elba, and this is where Napoleon is exiled to, basically for most of 1814, and he'll escape from here on the 28th of February 1815, and he'll head to France. If you like flight sim, if you like history, what we do here is we look at parts of history using the Huey helicopter, and so we can get down and look at the terrain and the distances involved. If you like the sound of that, you'll be able to look at the link in the to the video here, and you can go to the episode right at the beginning of this Waterloo series. Right, so this is Ponte Ferrara. We're going to now come out of this, and we'll take you to the next place. So let's end the flight, and if you're following along, we're now moving to the coast of France, and we'll do the same thing here. We'll do a series of little short clips for the short attention YouTubers. And we are looking at looking for Cannes. Here we go. So I think we'll start. Yeah, let's just start here. So we're doing the this series of three little short trailer clips for YouTube at the moment. So for all the people who have been following, we will continue the story from let's try not to crash though first. Whoa, that was close. Way, okay. Welcome, YouTube short people. We're in the Huey. We're flying over the Gulf Juan in the south of France, and this is the place where Napoleon lands on the 1st of March 1815, carried on a plank is held up over his old guard soldiers as he comes ashore here, and this is his return from Elba, and he's heading now back to Paris. He tries to take out this fort over here called Antibes, doesn't succeed, and then he'll move off to Cannes on the left. But this is the Gulf Juan, and if you enjoy history and Flight Simulator, you can join me. Click on the link here, and this will take you to the episode in the Waterloo playlist. We're following Napoleon's journey from Elba to Waterloo and probably beyond. And it's a mammoth journey, but if you're interested in this section, then you can click on the link in this short video. Otherwise, you'll catch me live on Twitch and YouTube, and you can follow along there. I know I should get better at these adverts. Let's move to the next place. That I want to talk about. And so Napoleon, for all my live visitors, I'm not going to do a little short for this. He basically, we've done a few videos. He's coming up this road here. It's actually called the Route Napoleon into the mountains. And we're heading to a little lake called La Fraye. Now he goes up. It's difficult when you've got the weather on. I think he goes through Sisteron, goes through Gap. I think it's underneath this cloud here somewhere. Is it here? No. Next one. This is Grenoble, so we're looking down here. I can probably find it beneath the clouds. The lake I'm looking for is one called La Fraye. It's in this area somewhere. Let's I might be able to see it better if I'm actually in the helicopter. Actually, it could be over here. La Fraye is where the fifth line, the French, there is, the fifth line intercepts Napoleon. I can't remember what date this was. I think it's around about the 6th of March. Just check my notes. No, the 7th of March. Okay. Let's jump in here. We always seem to be a little bit of an issue on taking off. Okay, I think we're crashing. Alright, that's your fault. Okay, let's spin her around. Kylie Minogue style. I would sing it, but I'll probably get a copyright strike because it's my voice is so sweet. Hello to all you YouTube short people. We are in a place called La Fraye, controlling a helicopter very badly here. What you are looking at is the place where the 5th Line infantry of the French army intercept Napoleon in this area. And if I spin it around, Kylie Minogue style, you'll see this area here where the white dot is. is where the fifth line of the French Bedoye, basically regiment, intercepts Napoleon at this location right here. And this is just south of Grenoble. This is where Napoleon says to the French troops, you know, you may shoot me and all that sort of stuff. And the French of the fifth line come across to Napoleon. If you like history, you like a bit of flight simulator, what we do is we use the flight simulator, the Huey helicopter, to have a look at some of the most important parts of history. And we're following Napoleon's journey from Elba to Waterloo. If you like that, you can click in the link here. Right. And for all those who was watching live, Napoleon would eventually dive down this valley here, and you can see Grenoble over there on the in the horizon. I think we'll skip that one. We haven't got much to say about that. Next place, I think, would be let's head to Paris, or just south of Paris. What we're doing, by the way, if anyone's wondering why this crazy guy is talking like this, is I'm doing a series of YouTube short stuff, trying to introduce what we've done already. We're on about episode 50 on the Waterloo series. And I thought for the newcomers, they tend to sort of pop in and dive off quickly because it's not really what they're expecting. And so I thought what I'd do is I'll do a series of introductions so that we can get more people onto the channel. We are here at Fontainebleau. Now, Fontainebleau was important. There's a lot of, this is where the treaty was signed for basically Napoleon's exile in 1814. And this is the place where he says goodbye to his faithful old guard. Just trying to check out what the date was for this. I think it's around about this 17th or 18th of March. Okay, we'll do a cool kind of camera shot here. Let me get some forward speed going. There's a really cool sort of ornate lake here, so we'll fly up that and we'll do the sequence there. Actually, I should be changing these. Let me pause. Should be changing these titles. Okay, let's zoom in. What I wanted to do is possibly get into a habit of possibly doing one of these sort of 3-minute shorts at the beginning of each section, so that I can then just clip it out later and put it out. But if anybody has any suggestions, or maybe I'm miscategorizing these talks, let me know. Okay, let's do the reveal shot. Let's get low and we'll start. Hello you YouTube shorters, this is Flight Past and we are in the Huey. We're approaching Fontainebleau, and this is the place where Napoleon arrives on probably the 18th of March 1815. He's journeyed up from Elba, he's on his way to Paris, and this is the location where he basically becomes, takes over the army again. Ney's come out to meet him, but he's actually turned around and he's marching back on Paris. And this is the place that Napoleon will stop on his way into Paris. This is where he says he had said goodbye to the old guard in 1814. And so it's a symbolic place for him to return to. And this is the Palace of Fontainebleau, just to the south of Paris. If you like your history and you like flight sim, then this is the channel for you. We do a discussion about certain subjects. We've done places like subjects like D-Day and we're on Waterloo at the moment. You can join me. I'm on Twitch or YouTube, and join in the discussion as we use the Huey to have a look at the distances and topography and see how those things influenced the decisions that were made on the ground. Beautiful shot there. Alright, that is Fontainebleau. Let's head into Paris, I think, next. So it's somewhere up here to the north. I'll go straight to the centre of Paris. What is that there? Trocadero, that'll do. What you're watching at the moment is I'm using this section of the live stream just to do some adverts. It also helps anybody who's new see what we've done. You'll see a bunch of postcards. When I chop it up, I'll put a bunch of postcards at the top so you guys can go back and click. All right, get my bearings here. Think. Yeah, we need to turn around. Just wait for the scenery to load. I better pause, just change that title again. Okay. Hello you YouTube shorters, this is Flight Path. My name's Simon and we are in Paris. We're following Napoleon's journey from Elba back into Paris, and 20 days after he arrived, he landed at the Golfe Juan in France. He's here in Paris and he's walking up the steps of the Palais les Tuileries, which is this patch of green gardens just in front of the Louvre, which we're heading towards. He's now back in charge. He's the emperor. He's trying to send out letters to the sovereigns of Europe, but it quickly becomes clear that he's not going to be accepted back, and that the Allied armies are building up on the borders. What does he do? Does he wait, build up his forces? But he's got problems in the Vendée, and he's got problems down in the south in Provence. Or does he reorganize his army very quickly and go on the attack? Well, he goes on the attack. He builds up his army, and he goes up to meet Wellington and Blucher, the Prussians and the Anglo-Dutch, up at the border near Belgium. We will follow that journey from here. You can see the link if you're interested in this part of the history. Then click on the link, which should be either up there, down there, I don't know where. And you can follow me on YouTube and Twitch. I live stream, always live, always flying live, hand flying, talking about history. If it sounds good to you, then come and join me. Right, that's that bit done. Let's just do. Let's do one more. I think we'll do somewhere like Beaumont, and we'll just get to where we were before. Then I'll have a break, and we'll come back and we'll talk about the actual day after Quatre Bras. Get back on the schedule. Alright, where am I going here? It is always difficult to see. Wish there was a quick button to just turn off briefly the clouds. I do like flying in live weather though. Shout out if you see Charleroi. Right, shout out if you see Brussels. Am I in the completely wrong place? Oh yeah. Okay, so it's let's start off. I think Thuin's quite nice. Let's go here. So the idea, if anyone's just joined, hi, good to see you. Just doing a quick series of YouTube short videos, basically to introduce what we're doing. I've got about 24 followers now on YouTube and about 70 on Twitch. So I'm just trying to sort of drum up some more support. And this will be the probably I'll do another one after this, and I'll have a quick break. Actually, no, I'll do this one, then I'll have a quick break, and then we'll do a quick one for Ligny and Quatre Bras, and then we can start talking. So what we're doing here is this is the left-hand side of the column, the French column, and so we're talking. I believe it's a rail core. Just going to fly this way a bit. We'll spin background. We should get a good shot of the river, and I'll start the advert there. I better pause and put the place is Looks and Earth. Let's just get that in the middle. And we'll swing around here. You'll see a little bit rainy today in Belgium. Or I suppose, yeah, it is technically Belgium, I think. Let's follow the river. Hello, YouTube shorters. This is Flight Past. We are in the Huey helicopter. We're at a place called Lobs and or Thuin. You can see here on the river. This is where the left flank of Napoleon's army crosses from France into Belgium on the 15th of June 1815. They're met here by some Prussians of Ziethen's First Corps, who use a series of defensive engagements, slows up the French as they drive up there to the left towards Charleroi. If you like history and you like a bit of flying like this, we can use this helicopter and the flight sim to check out these places in history, see what the terrain and the distances look like, and get a better understanding of what it was like to fight a Napoleonic campaign. You can click on the link here. This will show you the episode concerning this part. We've got probably 60 episodes now on YouTube talking deeply about this part of history, and we've also got a series on D-Day as well, going into the same amount of detail. Join me. I fly live. You can put your comment in below and have a discussion about these periods of history. Never getting better at that, am I? Never mind. Okay, let's move to... We'll go to do Ligny next. So we want Charleroi, Nivelle, somewhere over here, Gembloux. Then we go Sombre. Let's start at Fleurus and head north. Hello YouTube shorters, how you doing? We are flying at the moment towards the battlefield of Ligny. You can see there actually where the rain clouds are falling. That is the battlefield of Ligny. We are in the Huey helicopter. We're on Microsoft Flight Simulator, and we use the Huey so that we can get down to the ground low, see the shape of the ground and the distances involved, and we have a look at the Battle of Ligny. We're live on YouTube. Everything's live, flown live, speaking live, discussing live. If you like history and you like flying, then we're the channel for you. Click on the link and you can go to the Battle of Ligny. That is quite a cool shot though, isn't it? And we will, let's just finish this section. We'll fly over to, we'll do some hand flying over to the Quatre Bras one. We'll do it there and then we'll start the proper discussion. Today, or in the next episode, we'll be looking at the withdrawal from the battlefields of Quatre Bras and Ligny. I think what we'll start off with is the Prussian withdrawal from Ligny, and we'll follow their pull back to Wavre, and that's what I probably will intend to do today. And then maybe tomorrow we'll then look at how Wellington reacts to that. Oh, I didn't put Ligny at the top, did I? Never mind. Let's just pause here. What I'll do is I'll just change this title now to Quatre Bras, Ligny. Just move that again. Okay, keep flying. This has actually turned into a almost a 30-minute session. Never mind. Thank you, Guy. Actually, guy at the back is... You're in red today, looking snazzy. The whole point, by the way, thank you for watching, and whoever's still watching at this point, was that I enjoy the sort of flight sim. I enjoy looking at the world, but I can't talk helicopters all day long, and I can't talk procedures all day long forever. And so what I actually do is I discuss what history, so I can fly and I can talk history, and I find the sort of cool features that Microsoft Flight Simulator's satellite technology gives us. Now, what I'm looking for is the battlefield of Quatre Bras, which is always difficult to find. What I'm doing at the moment is a series of little I'll do a series of little YouTube short sort of trailer things, because what I'm finding is that people are joining the videos on YouTube and watching for a bit, and I don't think they're getting what it is that I'm trying to do. And so I thought I'd just do a bit more sort of explaining, really. Yeah, this way. I think we've gone a little bit too far. I think it's over here. And so yeah, I'm just going to do these little short introductions, and when I come back I'll have a break after this one, and we're going to get back on the schedule. We're currently we finished the Battle of Quatre Bras in the last stream, and so I'm going to take up the withdrawal on the 17th of June, and we'll follow the Prussians' routes back from Ligny. But in this section of the stream, I'm just doing a series of 30-second trailers to try and drum up some support on the YouTube side, because they've got short attention spans. Now, I think we're approaching the... okay, here it is. This here is the Matern. It's not really a lake, it's a pond. This area is Pierremont. And this is the sort of the eastern side of the battlefield. Okay, so this will be a good place to start. Hello, YouTube shorters, welcome. You find us over the battlefield of Quatre Bras. On the right hand side here was where Wellington's Anglo-Dutch army lined up in these fields here, and on the left hand side coming up from the south was Ney's part of Napoleon's army. The French were approaching up this road here, and so we're flying literally over the place where the British squares were formed as they were being charged by French cavalry from Pirot's corps from the left-hand side. These fields here were forests at the time, and they were full of Dutch soldiers trying to stem the flow of Ney and deny the important crossroads of Quatre Bras itself. If you like flying, if you like history, this is the channel for you. Thanks for the like, thanks for the subscribes and all that sort of stuff. Just trying to drum up some supporters, and if you click on the link here, you'll hear all about this battle in the Waterloo playlist. Right, that was probably really bad, wasn't it? But never mind, that's done. We're gonna head now back to Ligny, and I'm gonna take a quick break, By the way, thanks for that Stib Pen TV. Thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate that. What we're going to do, I'm going to take a quick break, and it will only be a couple of minutes. And when we come back, we're going to follow start looking into the Prussian withdrawal from Ligny on the 17th of June, 1815. So don't go away. I'll be back in a second. Welcome to Flight Pass. We're on our way back to Ligny, the battlefield of Ligny. The date, let me just sort that out. It's the 17th now of June 1815. So it's the day after the Battle of Ligny and Quatre Bras, and we're going to be looking at the withdrawal of the Prussians from Ligny towards Waterloo. I'll start off with a little bit of a trailer thing for the YouTube short people, and then we can continue the discussion. Hello YouTube shorters, you find us here at Ligny. The date is the 17th of June 1815. The Prussians have been knocked back, but they haven't quite been defeated. but they are knocked back from the position of Ligny. It's too late in the evening for the Napoleon to press his advantage. So what happens? Do the Prussians retreat along their lines of supply towards Namur and Liège, or do they head north and keep in contact with Wellington's army? If you like history and you like a bit of flying, then this is it really. It's got everything. We use the Huey, we're flying around, I'm live, talking live, and I need your help to have a discussion about what we see and what we think and how distance and terrain affects the decisions that affects us all in the end because of history. So if that sounds good to you, you can click on the link here and it will take you to the video. Right, that sounds about right. Okay. Thanks, Hecdino. Love to at some point. Just to let you know, by the way, I don't really go on to Discord, but thanks for the chat anyway. That's good. We are here. This is Ligny. If you have been following along, remember this is where essentially the Prussian front line was. This is Ziethen's corps was here on our right. So these are the villages of Saint-Amand, and we have here where the white dot is now the village of Ligny. This is where the Imperial Guard has taken over. This place here is the windmill at Bussy, and it's near here that Blucher gets knocked off his horse, and he's protected, but he's injured. You remember he's a 71-year-old guy, so he's a bit sore. And basically the Prussians start to fall back, and they head on this side. The corps of just lost my train of thought. Ziethen and the other guy who I can't remember. Bear with. It's the guy with one after his title because he's oh god, what is his name? So you can tell this is live. A Perch, of course, Perch. Perch 1. Perch 1's second corps was in this area here, just behind Bry. And Bry is this village here. And this basically starts streaming back to a place called Tilly, which is here. Now, because there's been a little bit of... So, there's a significant action on the day of the 16th was that Erlon was ordered his corps to come across to see Napoleon. And he came across in such a way that Van Damme believed, or he didn't know who it was. And so this meant that the whole attack of the Imperial Guard was delayed by an hour or so. And the knock-on consequences of that delay was that when Napoleon eventually got his breakthrough here at Ligny, it was getting too late in the evening to press his advantage. Now, we're just going to just fly gently around here. So this is where the army of the Prussians are falling back. So the center of the Prussian army and the right-hand side of the Prussian army, so Ziethen and Perch's corps are pulling back north, and this is important. And Thielmann, he was in charge of the 3rd Corps of the Prussians, and he was on the left-hand side of the battlefield over the village of Sombref, which we can see here. He's not affected so much during the battle because the left-hand side of the Prussians' army it's kind of protected by a lot of marshland, and Napoleon, on the day of the Battle of Ligny, put a lot of put some troops down there and some cavalry, but they were more like a pinning size force, because basically what Napoleon is trying to do is to force the right flank of Prussians to pivot to the east, and that then drives the Prussians away from Wellington, who's in the west side. So Thielmann's army is going to fall back, and they're falling back towards a place called Gembloux, which we should see. It's over this side here. Now I will try to remain in the helicopter as much as possible, but when we do have to jump out, I will do, just to keep some of the flight simmers happy. Now, Thielmann's pulling back to Gembloux because the 4th Corps of the Prussian army is under command of Bülow. He's been coming up from Liège, and he's expecting in that sort of area. Let's just pause here, and I'll just grab the map, and hopefully everybody can see this. This is the journey that we've just done. We've gone from Elba here. We moved up to the Gulf of Juan here, and when we went through Grasse, we went through Ligny, Le Ban, Sisteron, Gap, and we headed up towards Grenoble. This, by the way, is Lafray. This is the place where the first serious resistance occurred to Napoleon's return. He then goes into Grenoble, and eventually we'll go to Lyon, and then up to Auxerre, which is, I believe, here, and then to Fontainebleau, into Paris. He then came out early June, around about the 12th of June. He rode to Soissons, Léon, and eventually ends up at Avesnes-sur-Helpe. They launched the attack across the border around Beaumont, in the centre, Philippeville on the right-hand side, and basically Binche on the left-hand side towards Charleroi, and then he splits his army in two, gives Ney half of it, basically almost, I would say probably 2 corps, Rail and D'Erlon, and he's told to take the crossroads here at Waterloo, which is where the number 3 is. And whilst Grouchy has the corps of Van Damme and Gerard, he comes up towards Ligny, and the Emperor Napoleon will be furious with his Imperial Guard. So after the Battle of Ligny, what we're talking about then is that the right-hand flank of the Prussian army will pull back to Tilly and Mellery, and then eventually they'll head up here towards Wavre, and the left-hand flank of the Prussians, which was Thielmann's corps, was at Sombref, and they would retire to Gembloux. this is because the 4th Corps has been travelling as fast as they can from Liège to, well, I say fast as again, they're coming from Liège, Namur. Now, let's just jump back into the helicopter. So this this is the road towards Gembloux. You can see that in the distance there. Before the battle, there was no agreed route of retreat, and we have to give the Chief of Staff of the Prussians, his name was Gneisno. He was basically in charge because Blucher had fallen off his horse and they couldn't find him. And he, Gneisno will make a series of decisions that have been said even by, I think, Wellington, that it was one of the biggest decisions probably of the early 19th century, and that was to retreat north towards Wavre rather than trying to go back on their supply lines, which would be Namur, Liège, and then on towards the Rhineland. Now, Gneisno made this decision even though he had complete mistrust in Wellington. He didn't like Wellington, I think. He thought he was probably a little bit pompous and a little bit sort of like talks down to them. You know, Wellington had promised to come to the Prussians' defense. Now, we know Muffling, the Prussian liaison officer, did say that Wellington had the caveat, you know, unless I've been attacked by Napoleon. But even so, I think Gneisno didn't really trust that Wellington would do what was in the best interest of the Prussians. But nevertheless, to that, he still decides that he needs to retreat to the north. Now, when we talk about going to the north, you got to remember, from this side anyway, it's kind of almost like sort of bolting the stable door after the horse has fled. The Prussian army, I think, would generally going this way anyway, and all he kind of then does is put sends his officers up ahead to try to start getting control of the army. But he does make a couple of very interesting decisions. He does go over to the east, or tells his officers to move to the eastern side of the battlefield to stop troops going east. He's not completely successful. There are around about 8,000 troops do go down that road, and they head down towards Namur. But otherwise, he's pretty successful in changing the direction of the retreat. And he sends Thielmann's corps to Gembloux. And what this essentially does is it, whether it was intended or not, it actually confuses the French. There's 8,000 men streaming to the east. It's obviously a sizable amount of men, can be mistaken for a corps moving. There's also troop movements to Gembloux, so again there's another direction to Gembloux. And essentially what it does is it masks his intended retreat, which was to the north from Tilly. And we'll come to see that the French put out patrols, and one of the things that Napoleon fails to do is to patrol to the north, and therefore believes that the Prussian army is either moving east or to Gembloux, and therefore he's got the opportunity to turn onto Wellington's army. Now, of course, if the Prussian army is moving over to Tilly here, it also suggests that Gneisenau was possibly thinking about joining up with Wellington sooner. Because we'll just have a quick look at Tilly, but there is roads moving east-west from here. We can just see if he would be able to link up with say the rear guard of the rear elements of Wellington's army at Quatre Bras. Marbais is, and literally the road to Quatre Bras runs from Marbais here. So Tilly seems like a place. I believe there's a crossroads here, and as you can see, we could just possibly just fly over here and just see where this road goes. They head up this way. I believe this village up here is called Mellery, and this is where the Gneisenau managed to meet up with Blücher and realizes that he's not dead. This place over here is essentially Frasnes. We're kind of now, you can see it isn't as obvious, it's not a big straight road here, but you could wiggle your way over through these valleys. And you can see here, just on this top of this hill, this is Genappe, which is on the Brussels Charleroi road that Wellington will use. So it's interesting to think why he doesn't come back this way, or he feels he has to retreat probably in parallel to this road here. So we can see Genappe there. So it's not as easy to get across. There's a lot of little valleys and trees and woods, and maybe it wasn't conducive to two corps of troops moving across. Right, let's turn round. We'll head back then towards Tilly, and from there we'll follow the Prussian retreat to Wavre. And essentially, I think what happens is rather it being a decision of Gneisenau and Blücher to retreat to Wavre, just because of the way that the army was streaming out from the battlefield, they were heading to Wavre anyway, so it became the place for them to go to. And it's also believed that at the time when they were looking at the map, Wavre was the clearest place on the map that was north and in parallel, heading back towards Brussels and in parallel with Wellington. So they just sort of said, okay, let's go with the flow, as it were, and we'll put some officers, ride your officers along the retreating mob, turn that retreating mob into a retiring, organised army, and then turn that army into an organised retreating strategic maneuver, and then we can then turn that strategic maneuver into a strategic tactical advance. Right, on that note then, it seems like a good place to have a little pause, a little break. We're at Tilly. The date is 17th, well, it's probably late 16th June 1815, and from this we'll continue. I am live on Twitch and YouTube right now. You can join me, and if you're watching back, then hopefully you've been enjoying it. Please leave a like or a comment or anything like that, and I will see you in the next one. Welcome to Flight Pass. This is Simon. We are flying the Huey. And we're in the nice Canadian livery. We're at over... Look at this. We are over the battlefield of Ligny. I'm getting a crackle here in my headphones. What's that? I'm just going to reset the sound. Bear with. That seems to have got rid of that. So we are over the battlefield of Ligny, or have been flying around the battlefield of Ligny for a while. We're on, if you're interested in that, then check out previous episodes on it. We are following, though, now the Prussian retreat from Ligny towards Wavre. So it's the evening of the 16th, 17th. In fact, one of the reasons why Napoleon can't chase the Prussians too much on the 16th, one, it's the lateness of the battle finishing. We discussed the intervention of de Erlon and how he ballsed up the attack here at Ligny, which is this village on the left down there. But in the evening of the 16th of June, there was actually a thunderstorm, and so this makes it very difficult for the French cavalry to continue chasing. And if you remember as well, we do this in the helicopter for the simple reason that we get a really good sense of the distances involved. And if you've been following along, you know that we started on the 15th of June down at Beaumont, and we've got up to here. So these troops have been fighting for 2 days, marching and fighting for 2 days. And basically, I think it gets to the point where they're just knackered and that the chase can't carry on. And this gives the Prussians the ability to make sure that their, I suppose, defeat, it's not a complete defeat, but their say just them being knocked off the battlefield of Ligny, the defensive battlefield of Ligny. It gives them the opportunity to get their troops together. And this is one of the things that the Prussians are very, very good at. They're very good at rallying troops. Blucher's very good at doing it. He's excellent at getting these guys back into a fighting formation. And one of the wonderful things about the battle, the campaign of Waterloo, is the ability of the Prussians to go from a defeat to basically back into an attacking a unit relatively quickly. Now remember, so we're at Tilly, I believe, and remember these Prussian troops then have been fighting all day long. They've been fighting in almost, I wouldn't say urban, but it's built up villages, you know, it's been, which means that a lot of the times these troops are not in proper organized lines. It's kind of more hand-to-hand fighting. So the cohesion of the units breaks down a lot easier. And Ziethen's corps, remember, he's been fighting this defensive move back from the border through to Charleroi. His corps was at the front line again when it's at Ligny. It's interesting actually how Ziethen's corps is always in the front of these things. And they've taken something like 39% casualties by this time. Now Perch won. He was down here. This region here where I'm wiggling my mouse now was where Perch 1's corps was placed. It kind of was in reserve, but to Ziethen's corps, they had suffered about 17% casualties at this point. And a lot of these units that the Prussians had were militia. They weren't regular fighting troops, not like you would expect in the British Army at the time. They're more conscripts. Probably a lot of them were poorly trained. A lot of them had this was their first experience of battle. And essentially what this means is this disorganized group of troops, they pour out from the battlefield here, and they head to Tilly. And this is where National goes himself, but he's unable to stop these troops at Tilly itself. Just come round. This is Tilly, you can see here. So they're coming up this road and they're streaming out away down here. Now let's follow this route and we'll weave our way through these trees as we do so. So he fails to stop these troops from running away at this point, his army, and he's trying to establish some sort of order. And he hears there's a rumor that Blucher has been located, and Blucher has gone to a location called Mellery, which is described as a few kilometers to the north of Tilly. Let's have a look at the map. It doesn't seem to be on the flight sim. So Tilly is this village here, and we're just moving up, and so I think it's where we are now. This is Mellery. When he comes up to this place, he finds a group of troops guarding a house, and when he enters into it, he discovers that it's the recuperating Blucher. And so this is the beginning here of the Prussian army beginning to get organized. So this becomes the headquarters, and orders are dispatched from here to different parts of the army. And he sends off a staff officer with orders for the retreating column that's heading north. Let me just see if I can get the map up here. We got weather on. How do we get the weather off? Anyone know how to get the weather off? Delay. Okay. So we are, I believe, must be Brussels up here, and I think Warburg is probably in this area here. Now, this officer that he sends off rides ahead to a place. He's passing the column, trying to get to the head of the column, and he gets to these are all narrow lanes, and he gets to a place called Lozelle. It doesn't help sometimes that they change the names. Let me have a look at the map again. So he heads up to a place called Lozelle. Can you see that? Tilly Mellery. It's never easy, is it? Mellery. Okay, that's not clear where that place is. I'll have to do some research on that. Let's have a look on Google Maps. Right. Well, I mean, there's a place. Okay, let's there is an Avenue de Lazelle. Let me just show that to you. It's literally, this is the Boulevard de Lazelle here. There you go. Look, Lazelle. So it's part of Louvain-la-Neuve. So you've basically got a staff officer is dispatched, and they ride up here, and they get to Lazelle here. Let where would that be on this map? I can't see that. Got a night vision there for you. So they're riding up to Lazelle. He's trying to get to the head of the column. This is Louvain up here. The rain is going to start coming in a second. If it gets too bad, I'll turn the weather off. But it's nice to have the actual weather. You can see the nature of the land here. You can see how it's quite confusing distance-wise to Wharves, probably about 10 miles. Weaving in around here. The staff officer basically gets, by the time he gets to Lavelle, you can sort of see that trying to get to the head of the column. You can see basically the Prussian army on this side, the right flank, the centre and right flank of the army, have kind of already chosen their avenue, their route. So they come up to this town here. Which is called now Louvain-la-Neuve. But you can see, look at this terrain. It's now no longer these sort of open fields. It's much more river valleys and trees. The roads aren't as straight. And this is eventually where the NASA's staff officer manages to capture up with the head of the column, and you can see there on the horizon is Wavre. It's about 3 miles from here. So it makes sense that that's the place. When the staff officer gets up here, it's believed that only about 3 officers managed to stop the column. They're just through a wood, so we're probably somewhere in this area here. They stopped the column, and this is around about dawn on the 17th. So, whoops. Yep, dawn on the 17th, and there you go. There's Wavre literally here on the other side. So we'll just get to Wavre, we'll turn around and come back. So during this process, there's lots of officers who are trying to catch her up with their men, and they're rallying their units, and they're slowly transforming the army back into an organized unit. Once this these officers have made their start to rally, the message was sent back to Mellery and to inform the staff of the situation, and we then orders then come back up here for where these troops are to start to concentrate. We get the order that Zeiton's corps is ordered to bivouac around a place called Berge. Can anyone see Berge? Not helping with the weather, but I'll keep it on for now. Let's just pause, just find Berge. We'll find Berge, and I'll take a quick break so we can chop this up. And so Berge. Oh, it's called Bierge. Bierge. So we've got the river coming across, and it's kind of on the western side of Wavre. Let's just quickly find that. Get ourselves familiar. Oh, here it is, Berge. Just there. So it should be the river here. So Zeiton's corps is ordered to concentrate in this area here. This is the river below us here. So let's just pause, get our bearings again. So we are here. So just zoom out a bit. So we've basically streamed back from Ligny to Tilly to Mellery. We then wiggled our way up through these valleys and And as you can see, there's a river valley here that would stop us from crossing probably. And we got ourselves stopped by our officer at a place called Lazelle, and he's then sent information back to their headquarters at Mellery, and they've said, okay, now get you Zeiton, you can move your corps basically across the river at Wavre, and get yourself to this place called Biège. Okay, and that is where we are right now. Kind of cool. So okay, that's going to be the end of this part. Just a quick note to how these things are working, and it's a young channel. We're just trying to get established and trying to find out the easiest way and the best way to do this. So we're streaming currently live on Twitch and YouTube. So hello everyone, and there is anyone. And what I will tend to do is I'll break these streams up into around about 20-minute sections, and then they'll be put on a playlist on YouTube. So you can find different postcards going up up above, and you can go to the playlists there and discover wherever you want. The pace is about this. We've run probably over 60 episodes now to this point on YouTube, and they're popping up, you'll see, over the course of the next few days. So jump in and say hello and do all your comments on that. I'm going to take a quick break, and then when I get back, we'll have a look then at the other positions that the corps are ordered to go to. Hello. Well, welcome back to Flight Past, and you are watching the history of the Waterloo campaign. We are flying over Wavre in Belgium. Very rainy, but this is the site of the point where the Prussians are concentrating. You left us in the last stream. We were looking at the fact that the Gneisner has sent off his staff officers up this road here. We are currently heading south. We're going to we're heading back to where the staff officers are, who are in a place called Mellery, down north of the Battle of Ligny. The staff officers have got up here, and they've stopped the column. They stopped the column at this place called Le Zell, which is basically this. It's part of this Le Van de Neuve here. They send a message back saying we've stopped the column, what do you want to do with it? And the answer comes back that Zeiton's corps would go to a place to the west of Wavre, over the River Dyle, or Dyle, spelled D-Y-L-E. So let's swing back. At a place called Biège, which we found in the last stream. And Biège is over here on the left-hand side. The reason why I'm hesitating, by the way, I'm trying to find these other places they were ordered to. So, Perch 1, he was in charge of the 2nd Corps of the Prussian army. He was sent to a place called Saint Anne, and that is to the north of Wavre. That's one place I can't quite find on the map. Let me just show you. I think it might be more like a region. I can't see anything. They say to the north. Now I know that this place here is a chateau, and it's called La Boette. Now this is where the 3rd Corps of Thielmann is ordered to go to here. This place down to the southeast called Dion-le Mont. This is where Boulou's corps is eventually asked to go to. So remember, Thielmann's 3rd Corps had retreated to Gembloux, and then they will move up, and they'll go through Wavre, and they'll end up here. Zeiton's corps came off the battlefield in the direction of Tilly and Mellery. They pour up here, and they possibly followed the river, but they ended up at Biège, just here. And Perch 1's corps ended up at a place called Saint Anne, and that's the only place I can't quite see on this map. So if anybody does know where that is, then let us know. I'll try to do some research and find out later. So let's see if we can see that place. This is Wavre here, and the sun's just popping out. So I believe it's sort of this area here was where Tielmans was asked to go to. And we'll just do a quick look around. In fact, I'm going to pause and jump out. Let's get a good look. Let's give us an overview flight here, so you can see the distances involved quite quickly. Now, what's interesting about this route that we are going to take is when people talk about Grouchy and how he doesn't march to the sound of the guns, and why he doesn't do that, and there might be a real an interesting reason for that, and it's this the nature of the terrain between here and Wavre. So this is Tilly. This is where the Prussians got to. Especially their right flank, and they are now going to stream up, basically I think this way. Mellery, I believe, is somewhere around here. This is where Blucher's discovered, and they carry on, and they, I think I'm going the right way. You know, we go this way up this, follow this stream, river. This is the, I believe the direction, yeah, this is the direction that they're taking. It's very similar weather, actually. It's for June. And they get to this place here, which is where they're caught up with, and then they're brought more organized to Wavre. So Wavre, they have basically this is the first corps concentration point, and the third corps concentration point is to the north. We believe the second corps is somewhere around there as well, and the fourth corps of Bülow will be arriving at a place called Dion-le-Mont, in this area to the southeast. What's that called? Let's have a look at the map again. Okay, so Gistu is on the way, so it's halfway in between here and Wavre. So Gistu is here, Wavre is there, so Dion-le-Mont is probably this place here. I mean, it looks kind of like a hill. Le Mont, I presume, is a mountain. So presumably this area here then is where the fourth corps of Bülow would get to, or is ordered to. Cool. So if anybody's got any questions, that's great. We're talking essentially they stream off the battlefield late on the 16th, and the first officers are reorganizing probably by around about dawn. So they've had a whole day of battle, and they've been defeated, and then they're rolling back up to this area here. And I think is one of the most remarkable feats of military achievements, actually, to take an army that's been defeated, have it. First of all, they've been marching to concentrate at Sombref. They fought a battle. They've been defeated. They then stream and get away overnight. They get up here. They concentrate, and then they're in the fact that they're in any position to fight on the 18th is quite remarkable. And so the influence of the Prussians on this campaign is shouldn't be underestimated. So this area here is the place where Ziethen's Corps, and Ziethen's Corps is amazing. I mean, they fought on the 15th. They did a defensive retreat on the 15th. They were in the front line on the 16th at Ligny. They probably suffered something like 40% casualties up to this point, and they've now marched all the way back to here. So let's head back towards Ligny. We can, as we do, we'll have a little look at this terrain that is essentially separating the armies of Wellington and Blucher. You can see the forests. You can see the sort of steep valleys for the rivers. You can see how difficult it is. And we'll be doing this the story of their march across this land. Now remember, we're going to talk about Grouchy soon, and he's following Thielmann's corps, and so if he wanted to cross to the sound of the guns, he has to cross this terrain here, which would probably prove quite difficult. Now remember, so on Napoleon's side of things, his army needs to rest too. I mean, they've been marching and fighting for 2 days. And because of the nature of the ending of the Battle of Ligny, it's late at night, there's a thunderstorm, and it proves impossible for them to organize a pursuit. And contact with the organized parts of the Prussian army is lost in the night. There are clashes of French patrols with Prussians, but essentially they start to rest. And it's not until the morning daylight that further patrols are sent out. Now, from Napoleon's perspective, there is two things that he needs to discover in the morning of the 17th. First of all is where have the Prussians gone, and the second one was whether what had happened at Quatre Bras. And I am getting myself lost. This is the problem with oh, there's Tilly there. We'll head towards Tilly. This is the problem with this terrain. It's very difficult to find some recognizable features. Now, Napoleon is trying to find out what happened at Quatre Bras. He's also trying to find out what's happened with the Prussians and which direction they went to. As regards to Quatre Bras, he receives a report at 7:30 in the morning, and it indicated that Wellington was in control of the of Quatre Bras, and he was told that they were bivouacking on the battlefield itself. Then, pretty near to that time, the cavalry patrols came to him, and they reported that many Prussians were seen flowing eastwards towards Liège, Namur and Liège. So let's have a look at where that would possibly be. I'm not happy with some of these. So we're coming up on the battlefield of Ligny. Now remember, I think Napoleon spends the night at Fleurus. Some strange textures going on here. Hope we're not about to crash. So the first cavalry reports come back to say that there are people streaming off to the east. Let's just pause there, jump out, and I'll show you where I mean. So this is the battlefield here, and Napoleon is spending the night here at Fleurus, and he's receiving reports from French cavalry. Remember, there was a bunch of cavalry in this area here, that there is a lot of no, this is Sombref here. There's a lot of Prussians basically going down this road here. Now this road here, I believe, will eventually come to the place called Namur. There we go. And this is Namur. So this is the the supply route for the Prussians. And this eventually, if you follow the road then from Namur, it'll end up in Liège, and then you head back into the Rhineland. And so this is excellent news, or what Napoleon thinks is excellent news, because that suggests that the Prussians are falling back on their supply route. Okay, so he knows now. So it's 7:30 in the morning. He knows that Wellington is bivouacking on the battlefield of Quatre Bras. He's got a report that a large contingent of Prussians are streaming down the road towards Namur, and there's around about 8,000 of them, so it could be mistaken for a corps. And then he gets the news that Prussian artillery and baggage wagons have been abandoned, and that only happens if the enemy is in full flight. So Napoleon, who's over here in Fleurus, is now believing, okay, so the Prussians are falling back east, or at least northeast, maybe to Jumblo, but also to Namur, and Wellington is now exposed at Quatre Bras. And so he believes his strategy is working. His strategy has always been to attack the Allies on their join point, which was the road, the Charleroi-Brussels road, engage one of them quickly, and then turn on the other one. So he thinks that he's achieved the first part of that, and then he will now turn his attention to Wellington. This might explain as well why Napoleon doesn't think there's an urgency to pressing the Prussians. If he thinks his job's already done, then why stop the guys having their breakfast and recuperating from the battle? There's not a huge urgency there. It's a mistake, because basically what he's done is the patrols that he's seen out have gone looking mainly to the sort of east, and he's failed to send patrols to the north. And it turns out that the main retreat and the staff officers of the Prussian army have gone to the north. If he had known that, then maybe he would have seen the urgency to have pressed the Prussians even more. So essentially, and Peter Hofschfeuer, the historian, had written some excellent books on the Battle of Ligny and the German involvement, and believes that this is the point where Napoleon has lost, because he hasn't appreciated the fact that the Prussians will have retreated parallel to Wellington, or will be retreating parallel to Wellington, and therefore be able to come to his aid at Waterloo later on. Of course, he's not to know that. Right, that seems like a good place to take another break. thank you for watching this, and I will see you in the next one. Welcome to Flight Pass. You are flying the Huey over the battlefield of Ligny. Well, the battle's already happened. This is now the 17th of June. This is the morning of the 17th of June. And we are waiting for Napoleon's orders of the day. Where have the Prussians gone? What is Wellington doing at Quatre Bras? If you like history and you like a bit of flying, this is the channel for you. You can find links above to all the different playlists. Go to it and find the bit you like. Join me live if you want. Comment, discuss, and support the channel. That is my little YouTube short trailer that I'll clip out later. Welcome to this, probably going to be the last part today, just going on for a bit. If you're watching later on YouTube, the reason why I talk like this, I'm actually streaming live. It's never edited, it's never cut. It's just talking, flying. So I'm flying live, talking live. So you can join me. You can comments will appear on the left hand side. You can be my pilot. We've got Guy at the back here. He's in his snazzy red stuff, and so you guys are in charge of the flying. If you want to see anything, let me know. In the last part, remember we followed the Prussians and their route to Wavre, and we've come back here now to the battlefield of Ligny, and because what we want to do is find out what it is that Napoleon is doing. He's had reports in the morning around about 7:30. He got a report to say that Wellington was still in control of the battlefield of Waterloo, which is over to our left. You can just see in the distance. Wait a second. But you can see in the distance over there. Actually, let's stay outside for a bit. And actually, I can't control it like that. And he has received another report that a significant amount of Prussian soldiers are retreating or routing back to the east over in this direction, heading towards Namur, which is good news for what he thinks is good news, because that feels like he's separating the army. It might explain as well some of the lethargy around this battlefield. The reason why I use the Huey a lot in these discussions is because by flying live and chatting, you get a sense of the scale of the distances involved, the topography, and what you're essentially seeing here, I think, is a sort of an exhaustion's happened. These guys have been fighting for 2 days. They have a battle. It finishes late at the night. Here, yes, they are victorious in a certain sense, but they are recovering, and they don't. Napoleonic armies don't operate very well in the morning. And the news that's come to Napoleon, and also we believe Napoleon might be suffering at this point, probably exhausted, fighting for 2 days, and being in the saddle for most of the 15th. He's received these reports, and so I think he's got this sense that there is not a huge urgency, and this is shown in his instructions that were sent out. It's not until the afternoon of the 17th of June that he gives Grouchy his orders, and Grouchy's basically told to take some of the army and find out where the Prussians have gone back to, and he gives Grouchy quite a significant portion of his army. He gives them almost 1/3 of his army. He gives them the corps of Gerard and Van Damme, who was mainly fighting here. He gives Test's division and 2 cavalry corps. And his orders are basically to establish the location of the Prussians. And he starts by looking basically in the wrong place. They head off looking for the Prussians, and they find the significant force of around about 25,000 men have got themselves to Gembloux. I'm just trying to find out. Here it is. So this is Gembloux over here. You see where the white dot is now. And so the Grouchy finds these, it's basically the core of Thielman. The reports as well find that there is no Prussians in Namur that he's receiving, and Grouchy orders his forces to move on Gembloux itself. And they will eventually get here at 7 o'clock in the afternoon. So this is 7 o'clock in the afternoon, and Grouchy's forces have reached Gembloux. So the pursuit is hardly vigorous. And Gerard's troops will arrive here about 3 hours afterwards. By the time he gets here, there's no Prussians here. Thielmann has left. He's slipped away. Remember, he's been given orders to move his troops to Wavre, to the north part of Wavre, and he had left here at around about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, if I just pause here, you should be able to see on the map. So it's not until the afternoon that Grouchy's got his orders, and when he does, and the reports are coming in, there's a significant force here at Gembloux. There's also reports arriving that there's no Prussians in Namur, and eventually he orders his troops, the corps of Gerard and Vandamme, and they arrive here at 7 o'clock in the afternoon. So you've basically almost had a whole day's kind of rest. They get here, but they're about 5 hours late, and Thielmann has moved up this road to the northwest towards Wavre. So let's find that road. It should be a nice straight road. So probably this one here. So you see this road here. This one, I think it's probably this one. Maybe I think it's this one here. An old Roman road. If we follow this, we'll probably get to Wavre. Now remember, this is the 17th, and if you remember I don't know if anyone knows about the Waterloo, but there's a famous thunderstorms happen on the 17th, and this happens in this area here as well, and torrential rain falls through the day. It hampers Wellington as well as the Prussians and the French. And making it difficult to know basically where Thielmann has gone from here. And it's believed he sends out from Gembloux patrols to a place called Sarthe-au-Line and Perwez. Let's just see where that is. Pause for a sec. Okay, so we got Perwez is up here. So he's sending patrols to the north east. And the other one was called Sarthe. I can't see that. Can anyone see that? Walheim is here. So he's sending... Looks like he's sort of probing north. These reports that he's getting, he's questioning the locals, and so if we'll just carry on up this road. He's basically getting reports from the locals saying that they believe that they're heading to Wavre, and at 10 o'clock in the evening he reports back to Napoleon. And he reports that he's got information on 2 columns of Prussians. One is retreating towards Namur, and one is retreating, pulling back to Wavre. And this is probably something that Napoleon doesn't want to hear. He then tells Napoleon that his intentions is to move on Sarthe Walheim. I'm probably killing this. So I think we're talking this place here. So he's not gone very far, but he's decided that he will be moving this way the next day. So you can see already that the Prussians have got a march on him. They've already arrived at Wavre, or getting there, and he's only back here at Gembloux, going to march towards Walheim on the next in the morning. So he's continually behind the Prussians, and the argument is that he should have marched to the guns. Possibly he could have done that, but we'll look into these orders later. He actually says that he will march on Sarthe Walheim. He says he would decide from there what he would do. That doesn't seem... Doesn't seem that this place... Sarthe... There is Sarthe Walheim. So he's... says he's going to march to here, because he doesn't know... Presumably that was an old... was marked on his maps. That gave him the opportunity to decide whether to head south to Namur or north. Now I think when he says this place here, he's probably meaning something like the crossroads, just here, because that would kind of make sense. He doesn't know who he's following, but he's probably moving up with his main body. He's got patrols going out, and if he gets there, he's kind of... he's able to follow the Prussians if he had to, if they're going to Wavre, but also separate the Prussians from Wellington if they are indeed heading down towards Namur. So I would probably say that this crossroads here is where he would be heading to, and that's what he's told Napoleon. But as you can see, that's going further east, away from Waterloo. Forget that Waterloo's there. From Grouchy's point of view, he's been told to follow the Prussians. I mean, you would probably have to follow the Prussians who are heading north rather than east. But, you know, we'll see. But let's go and find this junction then. So we're going to head out from Gembloux. We'll head out towards the northeast. So we'll just turn around here and we'll find that road. There's loads of, the thing about this countryside is that there's loads of Roman roads here. Very straight, even old Roman roads as well. You can just tell from the boundaries. Anything I want to add to this today? I think we probably will finish the stream here at this crossroads when we find them. So I'd like to thank you for joining in today. If you are watching later, please hit a like and a subscribe. Very small channel, so every single one of you who do, I'll give you a call out. So we can see then the situation much clearer. I hope you can appreciate the fact that using the stream like this, you get a sense of the distances and a little bit more of an understanding of what happened that day. And it's good to put real places to what you read. If you're one of these people who likes to keep their finger on the map in a history book, this is the sort of thing you do. We're going to find this junction because it makes sense, and we'll see. We'll know then that what we've basically got here is that Grouchy, by doing this, is putting himself even further away from Napoleon, and less likely to be able to support him the next day. And of course, he doesn't know at this point that Napoleon is going to engage Wellington at Waterloo. Now I'm just trying to find, I think it's this road here. So I think what he says then, he's got here, it's quite late at night. So he spent all day recuperating, then moving out and organising. This is the French. And then Grouchy's going to move off. And I believe he's going to he thinks this is the best thing to do, because if he's got conflicting reports of troops going down to Namur on his down that way and heading to Wavre, he thinks that coming up to this junction up here, which he calls Sart Walheim, would be the best move for his troops. And they operate, you see, as a little corps, so I don't think he would necessarily be able to divide his corps again if he wanted to. Right, that doesn't seem... Let's just pause here, have a quick look at the map again. So I think we're just passing this Sauvigny here. So we'll go. Yeah, it's just in these trees here. Is the? It looks like the where the crossroads is. Looking for could have been there. This might be it here. So this is where I believe Grouchy decides to move to. Actually, that's a modern road. Just pause. Jump out. See if I can find... I thought it was back in these woods somewhere. Should be a crossroads. I think it's this. I don't know if that is actually a road anymore. But I believe this is Sat Walheim. Let me just have a little look on the map. Yeah, so that's the modern road there. This is Sart Le Walheim. Walheim. Yeah, so this is where he will move to. On the morning of the 18th. So remember, that's the morning of the Battle of Waterloo. So we'll in terms of distances, then he couldn't put himself much further away, could he? So he's here. So on the 16th at 10 o'clock, he's down at Jean-Blo. Then he moves up to here, orders his army in the morning to move to here, so that he can then decide whether to go to the south or to the north. So if you look at that map there, and you look then at where that number 6 is, you couldn't really put yourself any further away than from where Napoleon will be. And remember, Napoleon on the evening of the 17th is up where number 6 is, and Grouchy is down here at this place called Walheim. So he's managed to put himself as far away from Napoleon as he probably could get. Now, the weird thing is why is he even bothering trying to cover Namur? If he went to Jean-Blo, he had any information that there was a force moving to Wavre, then you would have thought that his first order of the day would be to move, say, to Purbeck, and then that would draw him immediately nearer to the battlefield. But it seems like he's ordering his troops over to here. Now, of course, they probably get there reasonably early in the morning, and then he decides then to move to Wavre from this point here. Would it have made a difference? I mean, at the end of the day, if he had moved to say Purbeck, Chastre, Purbeck, then he might have had the opportunity somehow to wiggle his way all the way over here. It's difficult to know the route he would take if he wanted to come to, say, to arrive at Place Noire, or even come through this way here. He would probably have to go via Louvain-la-Neuve. So his decision point would be at this Louvain-la-Neuve, which we remember is that Lazelle place we talked before. There would probably be a good location for him to have made the decision to march to the sound of the guns, depending on what time, of course, he gets to this place here, which we will discover in a future episode. So here we are. This is what you don't get on many other channels. Flying around the middle of Belgium, looking for a crossroads by a place called Sart al Walhein, and associating it with the Battle of Waterloo. But you wouldn't believe it, but this is probably quite a significant place in that story. Okay, that's coming up now for almost 3 hours of streaming live. I will put this up over the course of the next few days. You'll see these little sections go up, and you can follow along in little sort of 20-minute chunks on YouTube. So thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, follow, love, hug, all that sort of stuff. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you.